Good evening, everyone. This is Robert Jamieson. Welcome to our online lesson for Thursday, the 20th of March. I've got my fingers crossed tonight that the reception's okay, because when I've been speaking to some of you, I've got lots of static and echoes. But hopefully we can find a few people who can talk on the microphone without any problem. And one of them is Callum. So, hello, Callum.
Hi.
Talk to me, Callum.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. Have you had a go at it today?
I just went in.
Okay. Right, we'll have a look at it now. So we've got a position. This is one of Max Phillips' games in Ballarat the other day. Max was white. It's his go. Actually, I'll just switch over micro base. All right, there. It's his go, and he played G4. So in the position, the materials equal. Remember the four things we talked about in the first lesson? There's material. Can you remember some of the other ones? The four elements of chess?
Space, king, safety, time.
You remember the other three, Callum?
Yes, space, king,
Space,
safety,
yep.
time.
Time and king safety. All right. So materials equal here. What do you reckon about space?
Black.
Maybe black's got a smidgen more because he's got two pawns up, but no one's really sort of controlling the centre much. So not much in the space.
No.
What about time? Anyone?
Time, white.
All right. White's ahead because he's got his rooks already connected. And his bishop is developed. So black has to move his bishop out to catch up on time. So white's a smidgen ahead on time. Now what about king safety?
Even.
Yeah, it's pretty even. No one really has a problem with safety. All right. So it's white's go. And he's decided to play G4. What do you think his plan is there?
G4. Oh.
What's his idea?
I think it's to get into the king with because he just might just to go up and get into and it takes the point and the F pawn takes 6.
Well, he wants to get an attack going on the king side. So he's perhaps going to throw his pawns at black's king. But they've castled opposite sides of the board. So normally when you castle opposite sides of the board, a good plan to think about is whether you should vicious attack against his king, probably the same against your king. Okay. So is it a good plan or a bad plan? What do you think?
Good and bad.
Say again, was that good or bad?
Good and bad.
Good and bad. Okay. All right, everyone. So just have another go. So good plan, bad plan. So type in the question if you think it's a good plan. Type in if you think it's a bad plan. And we'll see if we can get a consensus. So G4 by Max. So Derek says it's good. Someone said good and bad. Tim says bad. Anyone else want to have a say? So Callum, you got to decide, good or bad?
I say good with the rook G1 push.
Look, the G1 coming up. Yeah, people are telling me your voice is a bit echoey. All right.
I think yours is. When I talk, it repeats it.
Yeah, we're probably having internet problems.
See?
Can you hear me all right, or am I echoing?
You're echoing whatever I say.
Okay. All right, well, we'll plot on and hope it comes good. All right, so black replies with pawn to b5. You reckon that's a good one or a bad one?
Better than white's.
Was that good or bad? I got everyone to help you. So black's move b5, good move or bad move? Callum says it's a good move. Oliver says it's a bad move. Tim says it's a good move. Anyone else have a view? Come on, all the other guys. Nathan, Cheyenne, Maha said it's bad. Derek said it's bad. So you reckon it's good, do you, Callum?
Yeah.
Talk me, Callum. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
your microphone's moving echoey. All right, sorry about that. I'll try and see if she's okay. Maha, talk to me.
I'm muted.
Can you hear me all right, Maha? Hello, can you hear me or are we all echoey?
I think you're good.
I think you're a bit echoed. Do you reckon it was a good move or a bad move, b5?
I reckon it's not too bad, but pretty bad.
Yeah, it's a bad move. Do you know why it's a bad move?
Is it because of E5?
What move would white do in reply?
Rook G1. Either rook, probably H rook.
No, you're very echoey too. I don't know what's going on today. All right, I've muted Maha. All right, apologies everyone if we're getting all these echoes. I might plod on without asking you too many questions, and we can do the questions via the question box rather than over the microphone. All right. This is what happened in the game. Max played g4, his opponent played pawn to b5, and it's a really bad move that loses the game straight away because he's forgotten to say what is his opponent going to reply, and Max has the killer reply, queen e4. So now he has, oh dear, what's going on? g4, b5, queen e4. So this is a double attack, so he's threatening checkmate on h7, and he's also threatening the rook. So he picks up a rook and wins the game. All right, let's go back to before g4. Now, Max likes attacking, so naturally he thought of g4 and he's going to throw his pawns, and that's his plan. But the message I want to give you today is that your plan should be based on what's happening on the position, not what you really want to do. You might like to checkmate your opponent, but if it's not a checkmating sort of position, we haven't got enough attackers and the king's nice and defended, it's not a good plan. So if you have a look at this position, Black's king is all safe. He's got his 3 pawns still in front of him. He's got a rook and a queen to defend him. And all White's attacking with is 1 queen and 1 bishop. So you wouldn't say that White's going to have a winning attack. So the plan g4, in my view, is wrong. Now, what would I do instead? So let's have another look at the position. And let's not think about attacking. We said White had an advantage in time because he's got his bishop developed and he's also got his rook already on the open file, on the D file. So he's a bit ahead in time. And the big problem for Black is that he's going to have trouble getting his bishop on C8 into the game. Because if, for instance, he was to play, if it was his go, if he played bishop D7, that would be a blunder because we could just go bishop takes pawn check and then rook takes bishop and we've won ourselves a pawn. All right, so Black's problem is time, not king safety. So the move I'd make would be, if it were me, I would play bishop e4. So now I'm putting my bishop on a real square in the middle of the board, and he's putting pressure on the b pawn and also now my rook's file is open, so the bishop can't go to d7. So I reckon it's going to be very hard for black to get his queenside pieces out. And I'm either going to double on the d file, or I might want to swap queens and go for the ending, where I've got 3 pawns to 2 on the queen side with my king supporting them. I can probably push them up and get a passed pawn. So I reckon it's a positional advantage for white based on time. Let me try talking to Oliver, see if he's okay. Oliver, how are you there? Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Did you get that? Forward positional plan is a good plan?
Yes.
Yep, all right. Poor old Max is such a keen attacker that he always goes for the attack even if the position is an attacking position. Okay, apologies to everyone if we're still getting an echo. Hopefully I was going to be all right talking to me. All right, now I've got a game for you guys today. Let's move on and have a look at it. It's coming up now. Albeit very slowly. Right. Does it come up on your screen now, Oliver?
Nearly.
Vera Minchik versus George. Nearly? Is it there now?
Yes.
Yep, all right. Now, I've chosen this game because we talked about the 4 things: space, time, material, king safety. And this is a game that demonstrates what we do with a space advantage. It was played a long time ago. Vera Minchik, she was the ladies' world champion in like the 1930s and stuff. And George Thomas, who was a pretty good player from England. Right, let's get started. So white starts off d4. Black plays knight f6. c4 for white. So he's got the 2 pawns side by side seizing the centre. And black decides to play what's called the King's Indian defence, where he's going to fianchetto his bishop. Knight c3, bishop g7. Now, what move would you make here, Oliver, if you were white?
Probably e4.
Yeah, let's just play e4, grab the centre. All that space. And we might be threatening e5 to chase that knight away. So black plays d6 to stop e5. What do you think white should do now, Oliver?
Probably knight f3.
Okay, now there's different lines you can do. Knight f3 is a good move because it's developing a piece for good square and getting ready to castle. White actually played a different move. He played pawn to f3. This is called the same-ish attack. Now, that's not a developing move. So what do you think his reason would be? What's his idea, Oliver?
Probably to protect the e4 pawn.
Yes, so he's supporting his centre on e4 with the f pawn, and he's now also controlling the g4 square. So black can't put a knight or a bishop on g4. So once you've got a space advantage, like a lot of pawns in a row, probably the thing you'd like to do is to push them forward and squish your opponent back and deprive him of any good squares to move forward to really try and make him cramped. So f3 is an interesting idea. All right, I think black just plods on and castles. Yep. Now, what should white do? What piece do you reckon he should develop now, Oliver?
Maybe her bishop.
Which bishop? Queen bishop or the king bishop?
Queen bishop.
Correct. All right, so we want to move the queen bishop. And we want to put on the best square. So what do you reckon is the best square?
Probably g5.
Yeah, Nathan's saying g5. It might get chased away by h6. So white decides to play safe. And white put on e3. So that's supporting the centre. And the bishop can't be attacked by knight or anything, so that looks okay. All right. What does black do now? Black plays e5. All right, so black's got his king nice and safe, and he's developed 2 pieces, but he's given up all that space. So he's now trying to get his own foothold in the centre. Now let's have a see if you can get white's next move. So white's got here, so white could push past to d5, or she could take on e5 for a pawn swap, or she could maybe defend the pawn with knight e2. So you guys type in question in the question box which move you like. Do you like d5, d takes e5, or knight e2? Let's see if he gets the right move. Timmy, likes knight e2. Derek likes d5. What do you think, Oliver? Which one do you like?
D5.
Okay, why do you choose d5?
Because it gives you more space.
Okay. Right, d5 is not bad. In the game, she chose knight e2. Now, I think what she's saying is if black takes the d pawn, then we can take back with the knight, and black's given up the outpost that they had on e5, so white's still got more space here. Hasn't got a pawn on d5, but he's got 2 pawns on the 4th, and black's got none. So that would still be good for white. So white went knight e2, but d5 would be all right. Black plays b6. I don't really like that move. If it were me, I think I would play pawn to c6 to try and control some centre squares. And if white plays d5, I might be able to swap it off and get a bit of an open line or something. But black goes b6. All right. What do you reckon now, Oliver? What can we do for white? We could still do d5, or we could develop something.
Probably d4 takes e5.
You've got to take it now. How does that give you an advantage? How does that help you?
Because if d6 takes back, our queen can take the d8 queen.
Why would that be good?
And
why would that be good?
Because the king's got less king safety.
No, I think if you swap queens, then king safety doesn't matter. Right, so taking on e5 now would be a bit of a mistake probably, because what you're doing is you're swapping your pawn on d4 for his pawn on d6. So the d6 will take you back. So the d4 pawn is a more central pawn, a more important pawn because it's on the 4th rank, whereas the d6 pawn's only on the 3rd rank. So I think taking would be the wrong thing. Okay, so what can we do instead? If I can get rid of these green things. All right, what she did instead, she did queen d2. What do you think the idea of that is?
Probably the king castle on the queen side.
Yeah, she's going for queenside castling. Okay, so black now develops a knight, I think, knight c6. All right, how about we chase it away now? Because we can play d5, and that'll force him to move the knight twice. So that's like free space for us, isn't it? So we'll go d5. Where do you reckon the knight should go?
Probably to e7.
Yep, 7, very good. All right. Now, this is the critical part of the game. Let me get the arrows going. All right. So let's have a look at the position. So white has a huge pyramid of pawns ending up on d5. So white has more space. We all agree with that. So what do you think white's plan should be to take advantage of this space? Well, should he or should she attack on the king side, the queen side, the centre? What do you think the plan should be?
Probably the centre, because it gives room for more pieces to come into it to get ready to attack the sides.
Yeah, the trouble is the centre's blocked at the moment, so my pawns e4 and d5 are blocked with the other pawns. e4 and d5 are blocked by the pawns on e5 and d6. Right, so if we've got more space, how about we want to squish the other side and stop them from getting any play, getting their pieces out. So white plays quite a good move here. So let's see if we can help Oliver. So everyone in the question, white to play, what move can white make that's going to sort of squish the opponent and maybe prepare a bit of an attack as well? So white's move in this position, type in the question box what you think would move for white. Callum's going bishop g5. Doesn't really threaten anything, Callum. Maha, I think, is going f4, which would only open up the position, open diagonal for black's bishop and stuff. Like f4, Maha. Rachel wants to knight e5. Not Rachel, Tim, sorry. I don't know where the knight's going on b5, Tim. It's not really attacking anything. Callum's looking at bishop h6 to swap off the bishops. No one's come up with the right move yet. Oliver, do you want to have a go? What do you think?
Maybe bishop g5 or h3.
Right, h6. All right, that's not really a squishy move. I'll show you the move that white played. White plays, come on, computer. Played g4. Whoops, that's 2 moves in a row. Pawn to g4. Okay, so that's stopping black's knight from going to h5, and it's gaining space on the king side. So because we've got space, we're maybe trying to get even more space. So what do you think of that, Oliver? Is that going to be a good move, maybe?
Yes.
What would our follow-up plan perhaps be? If we're going to castle on the queen side, what are we going to do on the king side?
Move our pawns up.
Yeah, we'll move our pawn up. Probably our plan in the fullness of time is going to be to move our h pawn up. Try and open up that file for the rook might be a good idea. All right, black's go. Black runs away and plays knight d7. Because obviously he's maybe planning to go to c5 at some stage. We can play pawn f5 first, probably. Okay. Now, white plays a really clever move here. I don't think you guys will get it, but I'll give you a hint. Right, so a normal move might be like castles queen side, and then we try and attack on the king side. But when you're going along, you've also got to think, what is your opponent going to do? What is your opponent's plan? All right, so first question, if it were black's go, maybe, what do you reckon black's plan would be in this position? What move would black love to make? So type in the question box, black's move. If it were black's goes here, he's trying to get play, he's a bit cramped, he wants to break out of his cramp. Anyone got any ideas? Oliver, you got any ideas for black? What black could do?
No.
Callum's suggesting c5. C5 would be a boo-boo, Callum, because I would take you with the d pawn, and when you take me back, then I can take your pawn on d6, I think. So not c5. No one's got any ideas? Stumped you all? All right, I'll give someone else a go, but hopefully they won't have an echoey microphone. So thanks, Oliver. I'll move on. We'll try Tim, see if he can talk to me. Tim, how's your microphone? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, good. You're coming through loud and clear. So if you were black here, what move would you play? What would be your plan? Any idea?
Probably I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Looks like everyone's stumped. Now, I think I mentioned it when I talked about pawns. If you don't know what to do, you think about getting two pawns side by side. So if it was black's go, his obvious plan would be to play f5. So now he's got the two pawns side by side. He's got the rook behind the pawn, so maybe he can either push forward and gain space, or he can have a swap off and open up lines for his pieces. So that would be a way how he could get some play. You understand that, Tim? F5 would be a good move for black? Yeah. All right, so let's put that pawn back. Now, everyone put your thinking cap on. So if we're white, we're not only thinking what we want to do, we're thinking what he can do. And we're thinking, oh gosh, he's going to play f5, and that's going to be okay for him. Is there a way we can sort of discourage him from playing f5? White has a really sneaky move here that would discourage black from playing f5. So in the question box, what should white do to discourage f5? So it's not castles, that doesn't really discourage f5. Maha's going bishop h3. It might discourage f5, but it's a really horrible spot for the bishop, Maha. It's just bumping into a pawn. I don't think I'll do that. I might do pawn to h4 first, but not bishop h3. Liam's going bishop h6. Don't know that that discourages f5 too much. You got any idea, Tim, what you could do to discourage back from playing f5? Callum's going bishop
Probably.
Say again?
Probably f4.
f4. Oh, that would really open it up. If you play f4, see, we're trying to squish him. So he could take the pawn, and when we take back, now he's got the e5 square, a nice big hole there, and all his pieces are jumping out at us. So not f4. That would be a bad one.
Okay.
All right, I've got everyone stumped, so I'll show you the good move. So white played rook g1. So the idea now is if black does play f5, we can take, and now she's got her rook on the same file as the king. So it's like already attacking the king and pinning the bishop. And we can follow it up with bishop h6 or knight g3 to h5. And black's king will be suffering from problems with king safety, one of the basic principles. So rook g1, probably a pretty good move. All right. So black said, all right, I better not do that. What'll I do instead? I'll start expanding on the queen side. So I'll go a5. All right. Now white plays castle queen side. So she's made her king fairly safe. Black plays knight c5, so that's a good square for the knight. That's okay. All right. Now, so tell me again, Timmy, what's our plan going to be now? We've castled on different sides of the board and we've got more space. So what are we going to do? Where are we going to attack?
Make we're gonna attack the king.
King side, queen side, centre. Where do you reckon? We're going to attack on the king side. So how do we get an attack going? What sort of things do we do? If we want to attack, what sort of things do we do to get a good attack going? No idea? Right, the two things I'm thinking of are we move our pieces over to the king's side because we need more attackers than he's got defenders. And we also try and open lines so the king's all area and not safe anymore. All right, so white's next move, if this slow computer will do it, knight g3. So I'm moving my knight towards the king's side. Black plays bishop d7, so black's completing his development. All right, what will be a good attacking move now? So we've moved another piece towards the king's side, but we haven't opened up any lines yet. Think about your pawns. What do you reckon, Timmy? How can you open up lines so your rooks can get in the game and attack the king? Any idea? No. All right. I'll mute you and see if I can talk to someone else. Right, Liam. You there, Liam? Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Yep. All right. So you want to attack black's king's position. So how are we going to open up lines for the attack? What can we do?
Maybe we could play maybe bishop h6.
Bishop h6, I think you said. No, what I have in mind, we've got all these pawns in the way. So let's play h4. So we've got our pawn storming. So we're going to go forward, swap off some pawns and see if we can get it as king. And black has the same idea because he replies a4. So he's gaining space and trying to get that pawn moving forwards as well. Okay. Next move. What do you think? Find me
Maybe
an attacking move. Liam, what can you do?
h5.
Yes, exactly right. h5. h5, very good. Now you're getting the hang of this. So now not only have we got more space in the centre, because they have a lovely pawn on d5, but now we've got a pawn on h5, so we're gaining space on the king side, and we're getting ready probably for a swap to open up lines to get at the king. All right, so that's all looking pretty good. Now, what can black do? What do you think black should do? What he should be doing? Should he be defending? Should he be trying to attack?
He should probably be defending.
Yeah, I think he should probably be defending and worrying about what's happening on the king's side. If he was really brave, maybe he could do f5 and hope for the best, though his king's going to be opened up a bit. He could maybe do even f6, maybe play rook f7 and queen f8 to try and bring the queen over to defend. But black's a bit like Max Phillips in the first game. He says, okay, we've castled on opposite sides. So white's throwing all of his king side at me. So I've got to attack on the queen side. So black says, all right, I'll bring my queen over to b8. So he's going to bring his queen over to b8 to a7, try and get his queen in the attack. Now, what's the problem with this, do you think? It's going to be a good
that
attack
we're
for black.
already attacked. Pardon?
Yeah, we're going to be a lot faster because we've got more space. Poor old black hasn't got enough space to get in there, and his most powerful piece is going to be away trying to attack, so it won't be able to defend the king. So we're hopeful this is going to be good. All right. Now, what's our next attacking idea? So we're ready to open up lines with the pawn if we want. We've got a knight, a rook, a bishop, a queen all ready to attack. But he's got some defenders. He's got a bishop, a knight, another bishop, a rook. So what would be an idea?
Maybe you could play h6.
Pawn to h6 or bishop to h6? What do you think?
Pawn.
Right, pawn to h6. Now, is that's squishing him? He'd have to play maybe bishop h8. But now the question is, how are we going to get at him? Because we haven't opened up lines, we've blocked the lines. So it's going to be very hard for us to get an attack now. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right, so not pawn to h6, so what can we do instead?
Maybe bishop to h6 then.
Bishop to h6, yes, good move. Because black's main defender is that bishop. All right, so if we can get rid of that bishop, the king's going to look even more lonely, and it'll pave the way maybe for our queen coming in for good attack. All right, so black keeps going with his plan. He goes queen a7. All right, so we now take his bishop, takes back with the king. All right, so we've got rid of the main defender. So now we need to think of a clever way we can get the attack going. So this is the critical point in the game, guys. So put your thinking caps on, and in the question box, type in what you think would be white's good attacking move here. We've got his king a bit open. We've got his queen away on the other side of the board. So Oliver's going h6. Timmy's going h8. I don't know what that is, Tim, because we can't move anything there. You might have to use your imagination here. White to play. Remember we said we need to open lines to get an attack at the king. So we can get our big pieces like our queen and our rook in there attacking. What do you think, Liam? Have you got any idea?
h6 maybe.
h6, same as before. It's just going to block up the king. He's going to hide away on g8 or something, and we can't get at him. So we need to open lines. Now, I'll give you a hint. One of the things...
Maybe...
Oh, Callum's got the right answer. Well done, Callum. Yep. What are you thinking?
Taking on g6.
See, one of the things about attacking is you get more attackers than defenders, and that means you can afford to sacrifice one or two attackers, perhaps, to open up the king to get at him with your big pieces. So don't be scared to sacrifice. Oliver's come up with the right move. So, Liam, I'll give you one more go. What would be a good attacking move for white?
Maybe pawn take g6.
No. Well done, Callum and Oliver. So the move white played here, knight f5 check. Sacrificing a knight if black wants to take it. So let's have a look what would happen if black took it. So if black takes, we can take back with the pawn. Or do we chuck in a check first? Let me have a look. I think we'll take back with the pawn. Now, if black blocks with a knight, we can just take it and we get our piece back. If the king runs away and hides in the corner, then our big pieces come in. Our queen comes in. Where do we want to go? Let's go to G5, threatening checkmate on G7. So, for instance, if rook G8, queen F6 check, and we've got him. It's a checkmate. All right, so he can't take with a pawn, so he ends up taking with a knight. So now we've got rid of the second defender because we take back and open up the G file. All right, Liam, I'll see if I can talk to someone else. Thanks for your help there. I'll try Callum. Hope his mic's all right. Callum, can you hear me all right or not? Say something, Callum.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. You can hear me all right, or am I still echoing?
You're still echoing.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong. Oh, well, you came through okay then. All right. Let's have a look at the attack. So we've now opened the G file. So our attack looks like it's getting home. So black begins to panic that white's attack's getting in first. And he plays pawn to A3. Try and get his thing going. All right. Now white plays another good move here. So everyone put on your thinking cap. Type in the question box what attacking move you would make for white here. Because his king's looking, black's king's looking very lonely. We've only really got a rook to defend himself. Callum's come up with an interesting move. See if anyone can come up with the same move. White to play. We've got a rook attacking. We've got a queen attacking. We've got two pawns attacking. Right. Oliver wants to take on G6 with the H pawn. That would open up lines, but he'd take back with the F pawn.
F6.
His rook in it. So Callum, tell us the good move.
F6.
Yes, very good. Remember to look at all checks and captures. So Callum's come up with this really clever move. F6, check. Now, if he takes with a king, what are you going to do then, Callum?
Queen G5.
Queen G5, check. So he's got to go to G7. What can you do then?
H6.
H6, check. He goes to G8. And now your next move?
Queen F6.
Queen F6. Excellent. So we've got the forced checkmate coming up on G7. And he can't get out of it. All right. So that was really cool. So he can't really take the pawn. So he has to run away. And he hides on H8. All right, Callum. We need a follow-up now because he's running away. What can we do to finish him off?
More. Queen H6.
Keep attacking. Sorry, what move?
Queen H6.
Yes, Queen H6. That's the obvious move. So that's threatening checkmate on G7. So his move... Or actually, he chucks in pawn takes B2 check. But we can ignore that. We can just hide on B1. And black's got his queen all ready to attack, but can't get through. We've blocked his attack, but our attack's still going. And now black's only got one move to avoid checkmate on G7, and that's rook G8. All right, Callum, how are you going to keep your attack going? Looks like he's got it covered.
I think it's H takes G6.
Yep, H takes G6, so we're opening up lines again. Now, if he takes with the rook, we just take back with our rook, and then we mate him on G7. So he's got to take with the F pawn. Right. Okay, now everyone, put on your thinking caps. Another chance to star in the question box. White to play. What attacking move should he make here? He's attacking with a queen, a rook, and a pawn. And poor old black's only got one rook to defend. So Oliver's looking at f7. Nathan's looking at f7. What do the rest of you think? Come on, Maha and Liam. Callum's looking at rook h1. Rachel was looking at rook takes g6, but I just take the rook, Rachel, and you've lost a rook. Maha's looking at rook g6. You've lost a rook too, Maha. Right, Callum, so tell us, what do you reckon is a good move?
Rook h1.
Yes. So all those guys who are saying f7, you've got to say, what's he going to reply? And he's just going to play rook g7. And he's sort of safe for the moment. So not f7. So Callum's come up with a really good move. Callum's looking at rook h1, threatening checkmate on h7. Now, can Black get out of it or not? Have we got him?
We've got him.
You sure?
You can't.
No way out?
Yep, because you can't block two checkmates.
All right, well, hang on, wait a minute. What if I do bishop h3? What are you going to do then?
Just take with the rook.
All right. And then if I do pawn to c6? Have I covered the checkmate?
Oh.
What do you reckon? Have I got out of it?
Not you. I don't think so.
Because my queen's covering that pawn on h7 now. I've lost a piece, so you still got to win the game. But I've got out of the checkmate. Oliver's saying f7, but I just take it. All right, so rook h1 is a really good move and will win a piece. All right. But what do you do when you find a really good move, Callum?
Look for a better one.
What's the saying we have? If you see a good move, look for a better one.
A better one.
Could there possibly be a better move than rook h1?
A better one.
Come on, everyone. I'll give you one more chance. White to play. White has a killer move here. Who's going to be the first to see it? Thinking hard, Callum?
Yep.
Even better than rook h1. No one's typing. I've got you all baffled. Oliver's saying queen g7 check, which would lose your queen, Oliver. Nope. What else do I say, Callum, about when you're attacking? Look at all... Yes.
Checks and captures.
Yes. Checks and captures. And your good move, Callum, is?
Queen h7.
Yes. Look at this. Hang on. Here we go. Come on, stupid computer. Queen h7 check. A queen sacrifice. King has take. And then we play rook h1 check, which is almost mate. You can put the bishop in the way, and then rook takes h3 checkmate. That was a pretty finish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Okay, well, apologies, everyone, for the echo. I don't know what's happening today. Hopefully we'll have it fixed for next week, both at my end and your end. I'm getting echoes all the time. But what I wanted to demonstrate was how White got the space advantage with that pawn on d5, and he used that advantage to start an attack on the king side, and because he had more space, he could get more pieces over there, and poor old Black was really struggling. He tried hard to get his queen over to the queen side. He tried hard to open the a file, but it was just too hard because he didn't have enough space. So that is why space is good. So I hope you guys can use that in your games if your opponent will let you get a lovely big centre like White had today. All right, so for the lesson for today, hopefully it was all right apart from the echoes, and I look forward to catching you all next week for next week's lesson. Bye-bye.